whatever your title might be. So, welcome. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell.
Here.
Oliver.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Tryon.
Here.
Godwin.
Here.
Hensley.
Here.
Be well, let's all please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes. You'll receive the last meeting minutes, which was what? August the 15th. Any additions or corrections? Seeing none, they will stand approved as submitted. Approval of the current financial report. You've all been given copies. They've been distributed. I have a motion to approve that current financial report. Motion by Mr. Tron to approve the current financial report. Discussion. Call roll, please.
Hottishell.
Yes.
Oliver.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Tryon.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Okay, approval of the agenda. The only thing I have to add is at the conclusion of the call of council, there is a need for an executive session. Under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1, which is matters of personnel to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, and/or compensation of a public employee or official, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on for a whole paragraph. Other than that, that's all I have. We have nothing to add, do we? Okay.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Call roll.
Hottishell.
Yes.
Oliver.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Tryon.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Okay, we have no scheduled public hearings for this evening, but anyone wishing to address council may do so at this time. Please come to the microphone and state your case, your name and address, please, and what you have to say.
Hi, my name is Barbara Rich. I live in 1106 Washington Avenue. And my concerns is how they're doing a great job of bringing things up to date in the, like uptown, close to the area. But I'm kind of concerned about the outer parts of the city limits, like the south end of Greenville. We have some homeowners that just don't seem to like to want to keep their property. I mean, it looks like jungles, to the point where it's kind of becoming disgusting in the area I live in. And I remember a time in Dark County, we took pride in, our properties. And to a point a lot of people still do. But, I'm neighborly and I ask them to try to, can you, kind of take care of things and keep up on it. And as someone who keeps their property where I live at, I'm a renter, of course, but I treat it as my own. And my thing is I did come up to seek advice of what could be done about addressing the neighbor, about cleaning his property up, because I feel it's a fire hazard for one. His yard basically looks like a jungle. And I do know there's places that when people lose their homes and stuff that the city goes in and mows them if people aren't able to keep them up, and then people are charged, $150 a pop when their yards are having to be mowed by the city. And the thing is we need to concentrate on people who own their homes, like in the area I live in, that don't do anything about keeping their properties looking nice, instead of them looking like I live out in the country, basically. And I don't know who I address that to other than, I'm not in the condition to take care of his yard. So, I would like to see what can be done about enforcing the city rules of keeping people, even renters, who are renting from property owners. If they can't keep their yard up, then their landlord needs to be on them. And if they are homeowners, then they should be made to keep their yards looking halfway decent. I run my air conditioner, and it basically smells like wet animals coming in my house. And I'm not normally someone who comes up and complains about stuff like this. As obviously, you've never seen me here before. It's just I would like to see if I can have something addressed about someone going around in the area that I live in and look at it and see what can be done about saying something to the people, whether they're, if they're renting or homeowners, about doing something about picking it up and cleaning it up. And that's basically why I'm here. So
Had you contacted the city before this?
I did come up and speak with Mr. Garrison,
Okay.
and I did bring pictures. One pool that sits between his yard and my yard, the box has literally been open for over a year. And it's not my place to find out who owns that utility pole. And the wires are visible. I've got pictures. The gentleman did cut the trees that were basically growing into the side of my backyard, into my fence, but he doesn't keep up on it. And it's not just those. It's, if you go look at this property on the corner of Bacoba and Washington, if it ever catches on fire, you're going to have a mess on your hands. And the guy right behind my house, their house that's on Wayne, their grass is this tall. And there's somebody living there. There's somebody living in both these properties. And I get along with all my neighbors. I speak to this gentleman on the corner of Bacoba and Washington, but I shouldn't have to be the one who asks him to please clean your yard up. I mean, it's pretty disgusting looking. So, I love Greenville. Been here since I've been 14. My dad and uncle served as law enforcement officers of Darke County. So, I take pride in it. My great-grandmother was one of the original starters of the Daughters of the American Revolution. So, we have a lot of history here. And several of you know me, know my family. So, I'm not someone who normally likes to complain, but I don't know what else to do about asking this guy to please do something about making him keep up on his property. So that's basically all I wanted to say. I appreciate you listening to me.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council to do so at this time?
I'm Mike Henderson, Moten Associates, 214 West 4th Street. I think maybe we misunderstood the meeting date for the public hearing for the retirement rezoning, and maybe it's actually the next meeting? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're here early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, what had happened, Mike, we'd had a snafu that the notice didn't get filed in time.
Okay.
So we had to change that date, and I'm sorry, I thought maybe you had gotten that information.
Well, I guess they had talked about a delay, but I was thinking that it was already past the delay, and this was the night, but that's okay. Not a problem. So,
I apologize.
no, Mr. Warren and I will come back the next meeting then.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Denise Prostopik, and I am a volunteer with the Darke County Humane Society. And I am here to see if you would consider refunding
I'm sorry, excuse me. Denny, what is your address, please?
205 Westminster Drive,
Okay, thank you.
Greenville.
For the record. Thank you.
I am here asking that you reconsider funding the TNR program again. We started the program with $2,000 from the city. We matched to $2,000 in April, mid-April. We put the TNR program on hold mid-August because we ran out of funds. We used the $4,000. We spay and neutered 67 cats. And in doing so, we also, some of the females were pregnant, which the vet aborted the pregnancies. So we, in essence, saved 25 kittens from being born on the street. we also were able to save kittens where we can get them when they're young, handle them, and then adopt them out. The other feral cats, now feral is just a name given to a cat that was born in the wild with no human interaction. So that's where feral comes from. They're just house cats that people disposed of like they're garbage. And that's why we have so many cats in the city of Greenville, because people still keep tossing cats away like they are disposable. They have hearts, brains, and they have blood running through their veins. Someone needs to stop and take action, stop the prevention of the population getting out of control. 5 years ago, we got a $30,000 grant from PetSmart. We trapped and neutered and spayed the cats at the fairgrounds and the houses on that end of town. $30,000 was spent on spay and neutering. That was the tip of the iceberg. We had no more money to go on the rest of the areas of Greenville. We had a booth at the fair, and we had at least 10 people ask that we come to their house and place traps to help them with the feral cats. We have no funds for it, so I am begging, please consider funding this and keep this TNR program going, because if you don't, we're going to, 5 years down the road, we're going to be in worse shape, spending a lot more money down the road than we are if we keep doing it on a monthly basis. Did you need any kind of documentation?
Whatever you have, if you'd like to give council some documents, that would be fine. Now, council has contributed to the program in the past, right?
Mid-April, I've been working with Kurt, and Greenville gave us $2,000. We matched the $2,000, and we've been, basically, that's not separate. Those are all monthly spreadsheets.
Just give a copy there.
So we exhausted that $4,000 mid-August, doing 67 cats. Now, if you would fund the TNR program, the Humane Society would again match that funding. We could do at least, if you did 2,000, we could do at least 67, 70 cats. If you gave us more, we can do more. But again, with trapping the feral cats, we were able to save kittens and take them off the street and put them in our shelter to get them adopted. So that's going to be less cats populating. And then when the females that were pregnant, they calculate the average is 5 to 8 kittens. We had, I think there were 15 cats that we stopped from having babies.
Mr. Council President, the original monies for that $2,000 that was came out of the community funds, of which those have all been expended this year. So if this is going to go, it'd come out of the general fund.
Well, it would be something that we would have to probably put in the hands of the finance committee, let them review that request and see, as we have a special fund we call community funds, that's where the first award came from. Now those funds are pretty much all depleted for the rest of this year, and that would constitute us tapping into what's called the general fund. So in order to do that, we would have to have legislation to be able to do that. So I'm going to assign that to the finance committee and have them review that issue and make a recommendation to this council. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
That's the best we can do right now.
First meeting of October.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council may do so.
Hi, Krista Hutchinson, 317 West 3rd Street. So there were some concerns brought up at the last council meeting regarding some potential safety issues with the bike racks that were installed in downtown Greenville. So Main Street Greenville has been working with the safety service director, with the street department, with the company where those bike racks were purchased from, to be able to address some of those concerns as they were given to us. And so we'd just kind of like to be able to provide you guys with an update, maybe get some guidance on how you would prefer us to proceed moving forward. So I was able to bring in some designs that were provided. There's 2 pages here. Would you mind passing this out for me? Thank you. There are 2 pages. The first page was some design options that were provided to us by a native of Greenville who is now an architect, so he was able to provide us some options. And then the second page is a design that was proposed by the company where the bike racks were purchased from. So you'll see the 2 highlighted options there are kind of our forerunners. So there's one option where we could remove the seat, and then a second option that the company provided where they could refabricate a different seat for the bike rack, since that was a concern that was addressed to us. So if you just wanted to look those over. The company that we ordered them from has been great to work with us on it. They have offered to either refabricate the seats for us, as you'll see on the second page, at a cost of $27 per bike rack, which, I mean, is amazing that they were able to provide us with that service for so little. Or they have also offered to remove the seats and repaint them, essentially, at no cost. So those are our 2 options. The design committee has recommended the refabrication of the seat. We have a private donor who would be willing to fund that cost at $27 per bike rack. But hopefully those designs would be satisfactory given the safety concerns that were addressed at the last meeting. And then I did also want to make council aware that the bike racks are covered as part of Main Street Greenville's liability insurance policy. We do have a standing liability insurance policy, and the bike racks would then fall under that policy for the liability element of it.
I think, excuse me,
Sure.
I think in conversation, just a general conversation with the law director this morning, since the racks are placed in the city right away, even though you are the owners and have the insurance, you would have to have a hold harmless attachment for the city as well.
Sure, and that's something that, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, that is definitely something that we'll need to discuss further moving forward before any final decisions or agreements are made. But I have had conversations with our insurance company, talking about how can we reduce, I think the goal for everyone is to reduce any potential claims of negligence. So if that involves us putting some sort of no climbing, no sitting sticker, if that involves our insurance policy, I think there are a few routes that we could take moving forward, and we'd be more than happy to have further discussions on that. And then one other thing that we were able to talk about with Ryan Delk at the street department, we were quoted a cost of about $3,500 in terms of installation, most of that coming from labor. We do have, again, a private donor who is willing to cover the costs of the materials needed, like the concrete, things like that. But it was suggested that perhaps the city would be willing to donate that labor for those to be reinstalled to save Main Street Greenville or any private donors the potential $3,500 installation costs. So that was another element in the picture that needed to be addressed.
Tell you what, since this looks to be pretty well involved and there are several issues that need to be looked at,
Sure.
I would like to assign this to the safety committee, which is Mr. Hensley as chairman, Mr. Rogers is vice chairman, and Mr. Godwin is a member, to review these things and come back perhaps with some recommendations as to, and work with
Sure.
you, the safety service director and everyone.
Absolutely.
That's how we do our committee work, and let them hammer out the details and bring it back to
All right.
council for consideration.
That sounds good. Are there any other questions that I can answer tonight? Anything about the designs? All right. Thank you
Mr.
very
Hensley,
much.
Do you think you can have that accomplished by the first part of the first meeting in October, which I believe is the 3rd?
I will certainly try.
Okay.
Will that include, since part of the request was the funding for the installation?
Yeah, I would look at all phases of it.
As Mr. Hensley is on the finance committee, so that'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait to see what recommendations they would come up with.
All right.
Is that okay?
Sounds great. Thank you for
All
your
right.
time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sue House, 281 Driftwood Drive, Greenville, Ohio. Just in listening to her conversation, I have a comment that I want to make. Since the city uninstalled the bike racks, if there's agreement made that they can go back up, why would the city not cover that cost? They're the ones that uninstalled them. So why would they not cover the cost of reinstalling them?
That's something that this council will have to take into consideration.
Okay, just wanted to make that
Can I
comment.
answer
'Cause I
that?
think
Sure.
First of all, the city installed them originally when they were brought in.
Yeah.
All right, they weren't installed as they should have been into a permanent structure that would have made them. They were just installed into brick pavers that wobbled.
okay.
Okay, the request now is to actually pour a concrete pad that will have the stability there so the bikes won't easily fall over and injure anyone that way either.
Okay, so maybe they should share the cost?
That's what the committee will end up doing, but there's more to it than just, the city took them down. Well, there was no malicious attempt by the city in any way. It was a factor where there were complaints about injuries and you got the negligence and liability issue, and the easiest way was to take them down until it could be done. I know it looked like that there was a problem, that the city did this under secrecy and was somehow shady. It was not. It was brought up in executive session because of the potential liability. When it came out, instead of waiting, 2 more weeks, 3 weeks, we took action because you never know when it can happen. And it was done quickly, yes, but there's been other times that actions have been taken after executive. There's nothing, the doors were open, it was a public, if anybody wanted to wait around, they could have. You were here, you could wait around and come back in. There were people, all of a sudden were complaining, except for one individual that Krista elaborated to, the next day was like, what can we do to rectify the situation, and came up with a solution. And that's the kind of people we need, is people that will come forward and say, okay, that doesn't work, what can we do to make it work? Instead of people sitting there going, the city's against all progress. That's not the fact at all.
And that's not what I'm saying, but I think, why not have approached them sooner and said, we see that this could be a problem, is there something we can work out? And it wouldn't have
As a
been
council
the-
member, we didn't know anything about it until that night when we went to executive. There was nothing discussed about it
Because I was
prior
just
to it.
trying to prevent the illusion with the public that it was done differently or with different intentions.
Wasn't done any differently than we've done everything else, Ms. House.
Okay.
You should know that.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council may do so at this time. Seeing no one, I'm going to declare this session over and move on to administrative reports. Mayor Woman.
There, guys. Thank you. A couple small things, kind of with a little bit of sadness, but happiness for the people that are involved, for the public, everybody here, I think knows that one of the street department's long members, Dick Delk, has retired, 30 years of service. Been a great asset to the city, and we wish him well. And also, our chief of police, Dennis Butts, has retired. And had a little ceremony for him at the police station the other day. And he doesn't want any fanfare, but we appreciate his service after a long career. And we'll probably do something a little bit for them later date. recognize them a little bit more. But just want to make sure everybody's aware of it. And also congratulate the new chief of police, Steve Strick. We certainly welcome him and his knowledge and knowledge of the city, and wish him the best, and we know he'll do a good job for us. We certainly support him. So that's all I have. Pass.
Thank you. Safety Service Director, Mr. Garrison.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. A few updates on ongoing projects. Our 2017 maintenance paving project, the paving portion has been completed. Today, the application of Reclamite was completed. That is the asphalt rejuvenator that is sprayed atop the new asphalt. Some of the streets that we paved this year, we did Reclamite, and then all of the streets that we paved last year, Reclamite was applied. As far as pavement markings, the thermoplastic pavement markings will, that process will be started tomorrow and will go through the remainder of the week. And then next week, the same company will come back and they will do the paint retracing of some of our existing markings that need updated. As far as our 4 Schweitzer Street project, the water and sewer line, that project is winding down. I was informed by Broomball Construction today that our trenches should be ready to be paved at the beginning of next week. So once those trenches are paved, we'll go through and remove the road closed signs. One of the projects that you have tasked me to move forward is the HVAC project for the city building and the police annex. Mr. Don Miller, the engineer, has been diligently working on this project, and he has arrived at a preliminary engineer's estimate, and would just like to throw that number out to you. The total engineer's estimate with the alternates, which were to replace the boiler and replacing the hot water heaters, that total is $540,865. Now, this is an engineer's estimate that includes a 10% contingency. So again, that's $540,865. If we have all of the engineering complete, specifications complete, I would like to bring this before council at the next council meeting to move forward with the bid process. Does anyone object to that?
No.
Okay. We will have that for you at the next council meeting. Also regarding the roof, or I'm sorry, regarding the HVAC replacement, has to do with the police annex roof that we've talked about numerous times, that in order to replace the police annex roof, we need to remove the HVAC compressors which sit atop that roof. I have reached out to 3 different mechanical contractors, Bargees here locally, Boyards locally, and Slagle Mechanical. I reached out to all of them approximately 2 to 3 weeks ago after the last council meeting, and I've only received 1 bid, and that bid is less than $4,000. I have enough money left in my city building maintenance fund that was appropriated for this year. I have about $10,000 left unappropriated. I could use that money, or we could bring back supplemental appropriations for the next meeting, but really would like to move forward with getting those compressors off the roof so we can move forward with the roof replacement.
Do you have any anticipation of further use of the money that's already been appropriated?
Still only about 6,000.
Unfortunately, you know, a lot of that money gets used on things that just happen to come up.
Well, I know in the discussion, one of the things was the steps in the front.
Right.
Is that still going to be completed this year?
We're working on it, yes.
Is that within that amount?
Yeah, I mean, Ryan would do a chargeback, so with $6,000 left, yeah, I would hope that we could do the steps. But it doesn't leave much money left if something comes up.
Probably, it's either going to be do legislation now or do it later.
Why don't you just do it now?
Okay. All right, and then that'll give me some time to reach out to the rest of the contractors and hopefully have a more firm amount.
Correct.
So, okay, we will do that. At the beginning of this year, the fire department submitted a CIP request in the amount of $12,500 for a tornado warning siren, and that warning siren was for the industrial park. We've identified the entire industrial park as an area which is deficient as it comes to weather warning siren notification. We know for a fact that we were not awarded the supplemental grant to go along with our $12,500 match. But we were going to put in 50%. We were hoping the grant would cover the other 50% for $23,000 to install a new warning siren along Jaysville St. John's Road. So since that grant request was denied, recently we have been approached by one of our companies in the industrial park that could potentially be willing to contribute to the remainder, the additional 12.5 that's needed for the weather warning siren. Was approached by Chief Thompson, and it was his idea that maybe we approach all of the businesses in the industrial park to see if we could come up with the $12,500 match to our money. Wanted to run that by council to see if council would be willing and supportive of that measure if we approach the businesses in the park.
I think we'd be fine.
And, to reach out to them, again, first of all, having one company come forward and say that they're willing to do it is a sign of, being cooperative and working together.
Sure.
But asking the others if they would like to, that's, I think, a good idea. Good idea on Chief Thompson. He's the coach of the team out there, right? And, if they can, they will.
Okay.
But
Well,
the sooner to get that up, the better. I'm
right.
sure.
We'll contact those businesses via letter and maybe a personal visit, and we'll most likely put a 30 to 45 day time frame on the situation to see how much money we can raise, and I'll let you know what those results are, and we'll go from there.
Is there a determined area for this tower to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That is,
It's along Jaysville St. John's Road. Russ, remember exactly where, what, and what? Yeah. And we will have to, according to Federal Signal, the manufacturer of the siren, has done what's called a propagation study. So they've determined where the siren needs to go to have the maximum benefit to the community.
and it'll be a community greater than just the.
Well, it will. It'll
Industrial
affect people in the township as well. And we will need to get, if this project comes to fruition, we will need to approach the township trustees because we will want to put this in their right-of-way. It'll actually go, I believe it will be on the west side of the road, which is township proper, township right-of-way. So we'll contact them and let them know the benefit and see if we can't.
But it will service the industrial park, but also like Wayne Industries area and Lakeview Estates off of 571?
Correct. Yeah. So when I say, well, that's what I mean by benefit to the town.
Right.
So, all right, we will move that forward. And then the last thing I would like to close with is just giving you a little bit of an update as far as the community events that went on in our city this past Labor Day weekend. On Friday, we had First Fridays. The weather didn't really cooperate with us, but we had a movie that was held at the First Congregational Church. On Saturday, the Greenville High School hosted the Treaty City Cross Country Invitational, where we saw 1,200 runners participate, and I'm sure with all of those runners had a parent or a grandparent that showed up with them. And then on Sunday, the YOLO organization hosted the 5K, 15K, and half marathon race that took place. So we had a good participation with that. And then also on Saturday and Sunday, and Mr. Burkett might share a little bit about his experience with that, with our other event that happened, but that was the horseshoe pitchers were in town. So our city park definitely seen a workout, and that's what, as you're able to, or I was able to, walk through the park and just see how nice it was, and it's just fantastic that in our city we're able to host all of those events in our beautiful park. So a little bit of pride there, and a big thank you to the street department that made all of that happen.
And don't forget the concert also.
Oh, yeah, on Sunday evening was the food truck rally, along with the final concert of the year. And the band shell is coming along nicely. Unfortunately, we did not get to use it for our last band concert, but most definitely we will use it for the first band concert in 2018. And then also a reminder to everyone, as far as community events, this coming weekend or on Saturday is the car show downtown. So that's another big event that will bring a lot of folks to our fine city. So with that, I will pass.
Thank you. Moving on to Law Director, Mr. Cox. Any
Pass.
Thank you. And
Good job.
he knows how to get council's attention. And our city auditor, Mrs. Wellman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I shall pass as well this evening.
Well, thank you. Okay, that concludes our administrative reports. Moving on to committee reports, we have one out of the Finance Committee. It was to review funds for the Fort Schweitzer lighting project with Safety Service Director, Mayor, and Auditor. So would you read that report, please?
Okay, August 31st, 2017. Honorable members, we hereby submit our report. The Finance Committee met on August 29th, 2017 to review funds for the 4th Schweitzer Street lighting project with the Safety Service Director, Mayor, and Auditor. The committee finds that the cost of the lights are covered by the grant from the state of Ohio, but that the engineering for the lighting is $19,600, and it is the responsibility of the city of Greenville. Therefore, it is this committee's recommendation that a transfer of this amount be made from the general fund account of the city to the CIP account, and that the necessary legislation be prepared. Respectfully submitted, Committee on Finance.
Make a motion to accept the committee's report.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to accept the committee's report. Discussion.
Yes, just for clarification, is it from the general fund to the CIP account, or is it
No, the general fund into the CIP.
Yes.
general fund to the CIP?
And the grant that is covering the cost of the lights does cover the upgrade for the lights along 4th Street from Sycamore to the curve at Schweitzer, to the more decorative black with the cone, and then up the ones from the curve there to Pine will be the metal, sort of like it's in front of the school. But that was all covered with that grant. It's just the cost of the engineering is what we're responsible for. And that's part of our match toward the grant, correct?
Correct. Further discussion? Okay, the motion before you is to accept the committee's report. Call the roll, please.
Pettischel,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Tryon.
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Now, moving on to ordinances and resolutions. We have 9 to consider tonight. First will be an ordinance regarding supplemental appropriations.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017. And there is a change to the summary on this legislation. The ordinance authorizes appropriations to the general fund for the mayor's economic development, mayor in the amount of $15,000. These funds are needed to pay Montrose Group for professional services regarding redistricting. Transfers general in the amount of $2,000. These funds represent a community funds donation for new trees in the park. To the park fund for new tree planting in the park in the amount of $4,344. These funds represent donations from individuals as well as from community funds.
Motion to suspend the rules, give this reading by title only for second, third time.
Motion by Mr. Ryan to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishell,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Tryon,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Was there a no vote? Okay. No, then go ahead and read the second, third time.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017.
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Oliver to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Addishell,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Tryon,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Okay, let's back up just a moment. Was the legislation prepared for
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay.
For the
So
committee,
yes.
on the committee
On
report.
the committee
Yes.
report.
So we need to add
Okay,
that.
so that automatically goes to item 10. We don't have to suspend the rules to read it. According to council rules, it becomes item 10, which is regarding the funding
Transfer.
of Fourth Schweitzer street lighting. I'm sorry, thank you for pointing that
Yes.
out. Okay, so that becomes item 10. Now, next we have a transfer ordinance.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. And this summary also has a correction. This ordinance allows a transfer to the Public Transportation Fund in the amount of $4,000 from gas, oil, and supplies transit to new equipment transit. This transfer is needed to cover the cost of a new radio repeater and to replace the current 5 parking lot lights at the transit facility to LED lighting.
Motion to suspend the rules, give this ordinance read by title only for second, third time.
Mr. Tron to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishell,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Tryon,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville.
Motion.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville.
Motion to adopt.
Now, motion by Mrs. Howdyshell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Addishell,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Tryon.
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Okay, next we have an ordinance to establish a drug law enforcement fund.
An ordinance to establish a drug law enforcement fund. This ordinance establishes a drug law enforcement fund as a means to deposit and disperse any fines that are collected and is to be used to subsidize law enforcement efforts that pertain to drug offenses.
Motion to suspend the rules, read this ordinance by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Oliver to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Addishell,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Tryon,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes. Read it.
Okay. An ordinance to establish a drug law enforcement fund. An ordinance to establish a drug law enforcement fund.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishell,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Tryon.
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have a resolution to approve bids for contracts with water plant chemicals and use and delivery in 2018.
A resolution approving bids for contracts for water plant chemicals for use and delivery in 2018. This resolution approves the bids for contracts for water plant chemicals in 2018 from Air Products Incorporated, JCI Jones Chemicals Incorporated, PVS Technologies Incorporated, Carmeuse Lime and Stone Incorporated, and Chemical Services Incorporated.
Motion to suspend the rules and give this resolution reading by title only for a second, third time.
Motion, Mr. Tron, to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Addishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
A resolution approving bids for contracts for water plant chemicals for use and delivery in 2018. A resolution approving bids for contracts for water plant chemicals for use and delivery in 2018.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Motion, Mr. Rogers, to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have a resolution to approve the development of bicycle routes through the city as part of the state and national network.
A resolution to approve development of a bicycle route through the city as part of a state and national network.
Motion to suspend the rules, give the resolution reading by title only for a second, third time.
Motion from Mr. Tron to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes. Move to adopt the resolution?
You gotta read it
Oh,
first.
sorry.
Okay, a resolution to approve development of a bicycle route through the city as part of a state and national network. A resolution to approve development of a bicycle route through the city as part of a state and national network.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
I want to point out that part of this, the city is assisting with the engineering, which is attributed to part of the in-kind toward the grants that goes toward this. And the city is very active with this, with the safety service director, the planning and zoning, and street superintendents all being a part of this, correct?
I can't find all the pages to sign here. Is this in conjunction with the Park District?
Actually, this is ODOT, who is recognizing the Dark County Park District and the city of Greenville's efforts to extend the bike rack through, the trail.
Don't say that.
Through Greenville. This legislation was suggested to the city by ODOT, and this will, I believe it's called SB 36, but it designates that bike route on the ODOT map, if you will.
Well, you hide these things better than.
I did well.
Can't find out where to sign the second one. I got the first.
Do you see how many pages were in the email with the contract?
Oh, yeah.
I want to know that Kurt,
Let me.
he should initial each page they read
Okay,
it.
where are we now?
We've done the discussion, the motion to adopt.
Okay. So the motion to adopt has been called. Call the roll, please.
Addishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
That's easier. Okay. Next, we have a resolution to authorize bidding for sidewalks installation on North Ohio Street.
A resolution authorizing bidding for sidewalk installation on North Ohio Street.
Move
This-
to,
This resolution authorized the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for sidewalk installation on North Ohio Street.
move to suspend the rules, give this second and third reading by title only.
Motion Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next,
No,
we need to adopt.
you need to.
She got to read it twice.
Okay, a resolution authorizing bidding for sidewalk installation on North Ohio Street. A resolution authorizing bidding for sidewalk installation on North Ohio Street.
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Yes, I am just so glad that we got this project far enough along for a bid. This has been a concern of mine since we ran out of funding last year for what we did. But with that I pass, go.
Just to let people know, this is picking up where the sidewalk left off on North Ohio Street from the North Main Street, or East Main Street, Ohio Street. It takes it to the existing at Greenmore, which is basically, it's on the west side of Ohio Street across from the new school in front of Rest Haven Nursing Home. So that will allow all those youth in that area to have sidewalks to come out on and cross properly at the crosswalks.
Other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Okay, item 7, resolution authorized bidding for water line replacement on Donald Drive.
A resolution authorizing bidding for water line replacement on Donald Drive. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids of the water line replacement on Donald Drive.
Motion to suspend the rules, read this resolution by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Oliver to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Read it.
A resolution authorizing bidding for water line replacement on Donald Drive. A resolution authorizing bidding for water line replacement on Donald Drive.
Motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion by Mrs. Howdishell to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And an resolution authorizing contract with Littman Thomas Insurance Agency for liability insurance coverage and declaring an emergency.
A resolution authorizing a contract not to exceed 1 year in duration with Littman Thomas Insurance Agency for providing of liability insurance coverage for the city of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. This resolution authorizes a 1-year contract with Littman Thomas Insurance Agency to provide liability insurance for the city of Greenville, Ohio, for the period of October 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2018. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Motion to suspend the rules, give the resolution, reading by title only for second, third time.
Motion, Mr. Tryon, to suspend the rules, read the resolution, title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing a contract not to exceed 1 year in duration with Littman Thomas Insurance Agency for the providing of liability insurance coverage for the city of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Want me to read it twice? Okay. A resolution authorizing a contract not to exceed 1 year in duration with Littman Thomas Insurance Agency for the providing of liability insurance coverage for the city of Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Tryon to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Now we have a motion to adopt that ordinance. Discussion.
Just to point out that last year, when we discussed this, it was found that Littman Thomas is one of the very few people that provide municipal liability insurances that's not at a group rate. and that it was a very,
Competitive.
very competitive offer, and there's no reason why not to accept this.
Other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Addishaw?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have a ordinance amending municipal income tax ordinance 15-119 with regarding penalties for certain tax violations and declaring an emergency.
An ordinance amending the municipal income tax ordinance number 15-119 as it relates to penalties for certain tax violations and declaring an emergency. This ordinance amends section 99 of the municipal income tax ordinance number 15-119 as it relates to penalties for certain tax violations. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishaw?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Read it.
An ordinance amending the municipal income tax ordinance number 15-119 as it relates to penalties for certain tax violations and declaring an emergency. An ordinance amending the municipal income tax ordinance number 15-119 as it relates to penalties for certain tax violations and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishaw?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Motion to adopt?
Motion by Mr. Oliver to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
Yes, simply put, I read through that ordinance, and I'm just glad I'm not a lawyer. So that'll pass.
That's why they get the big bucks. Okay. Further discussion. Call the roll, please.
Addishaw?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And finally, number 10. It was a result of the committee report for furnishing funding of the Schweitzer, 4th and Schweitzer Street project, street lighting.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017. This ordinance authorizes appropriations to the general fund for transfers from general in the amount of $19,600. This transfer is needed to cover engineering services on the 4th Schweitzer lighting project, to the CIP fund for roadway enhancement, CIP in the amount of $19,600. These funds are needed to pay for engineering services for the 4th Schweitzer lighting project.
Motion to adopt the ordinance?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Oh,
Got it.
I'm sorry. Motion to suspend the rules and read this ordinance first or second and third time?
Okay, motion by Mrs. Howdishaw to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Addishaw?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017.
Motion to adopt?
Motion by Mr. Oliver to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Addishaw?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And that concludes our ordinances and resolutions for this evening. Nothing under old business, nothing under new business. Communications. communications. Do we have any communications?
We do. We have monthly reports were received from the following departments: Fire Department, Income Tax Department, Police Department. These reports have been distributed to council.
Okay. Nothing further. We'll call down the council. Moving right along here.
Mrs. Hotteshow?
I pass.
Mr. Oliver?
Pass?
Rogers?
Yes, I've had several people asking me about the speed limit around the new school, and I guess there's quite a bit of speed out there. I know the school hadn't been open very long this year, but there seems to be quite a bit of speed. Nobody's slowing down for that school zone of 20. So I'd like to see maybe more patrol out there or something, you know, that might help that for the time being. And I pass.
Mr. Schmidt?
I will pass.
Mr. Tryon?
Congratulations to Dick Delk and Dennis Butts on their retirement and their many years of service. And like Kurt said, big congrats to the organizers of the Yellow Project, which the city benefits because of the funds do come back to the city. The cross-country meet and the amount of people it brought, the horseshoe was here all weekend. The concert in the park, one of the comments that I had was the parking was so full that they were parked all the way back to the high school with the big crowd, with the food truck rally and the concerts. And also congratulations to the Friends of Harmon Field and the schools on opening the new football field. And hopefully they'll be able to get a win on it now this year and pass.
Mr. Godwin?
I'm gonna pass.
And Mr. Hensley?
I also will pass.
Mr. Pickett?
Yes, I will pass. A couple of things. I had the opportunity to go out and help with the kind of the kickoff of the horseshoe tournament, and it was kind of neat. The thing that impressed me the most was the fact, and I shared this with the administrative team this morning, they had a number of young people that participated from various ages, both male and female. And they gave out probably a couple of dozen awards. And they had them from, as I said, from various ages. And that tournament has been out there now for 60-some years. And I said, that's going to ensure that it'll be here for 60 more because they're getting young people involved. And I think that's pretty neat. It isn't a sport that a lot of people take to, but it is neat. And some of those people, they give their percentage of the ringers that they throw in a tournament because they keep track of all that. And some for the young people were pretty high. When you look at some of the professionals, sometimes their ringer percentages are fairly decent, but some of these kids are pretty good. And I think that really speaks well of the whole interest in that event. I too would like to thank Dick Delk and Chief Butts for their years of service. We have, I don't know what, total over 60 years service that kind of went out the door there. And it's, it leaves a little bit of a hole. And so we'll kind of muster along and get things moving again, and congratulations to Chief Strick and all of the other things that are going on. I just thought of something. You mentioned the car show Saturday night, right? Downtown?
Yes,
It's also the first night of DECA performance.
correct.
I don't know where people are going to park because I don't think they're going to have that lot cleared off by Friday, Saturday night. So just be ready, folks, because we might have to run shuttle buses someplace to get people to Memorial Hall. But anyway, keep that in mind as you prepare for your trek out on Saturday night. Come down and support that car show. It's a neat event. So Anyway, with that, I would entertain the motion that we rise to executive session for the purpose of discussing Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1, which is matters of personnel.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Trina, we rise. Call the roll, please.
Addishow?
Yes.
Oliver?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Tryon?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Thank you all for coming. We'll stand in short recess while we clear the chambers and shut down the television.